It's astonishing that the proclamation of a light entertainment favourite on daytime TV should cause such a meltdown amongst Britain's flailing and fragile elite class, and even, I can reveal today, prompt a civil war at woke ITV, that increasingly out-of-touch and hard-left broadcaster where he works. Indeed, what Rylan Clark said on This Morning yesterday was what the vast majority of the British public think.
A major worry. I've got to be honest, that is a major worry. Now, taking politics out of this, let's just look at the country, Tim.
Yeah.
This country is built on immigration. Legal immigration. You know, a lot of the nurses, the doctors that have saved my mum's life have come over here from other countries, are living a great life. They're paying into this tax system. They're helping this country thrive. I find it absolutely insane that all these people, one, are risking their lives coming across the channel like that they are. But two, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here. It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed. Here's the hotel. Here's the phones. Here's the iPad. Here's the NHS in reception of your hotel. Here's 3 meals a day. Here's a games room in the hotel. Have a lovely time and welcome. And then there's people that have lived here all their lives that are struggling. That are homeless. Let's not even discuss our homeless. That are people living on the streets, veterans, all of this. Now, this isn't me getting on my soapbox because, let me be honest, everyone's going to have an opinion about this and you're going to upset someone some which way. I believe that something major needs to be done about this. The money that it's costing us, the amount of people that are in this country that we have no idea who they are, what they've done, what they're capable of, and clearly we see a lot of it in the press at the moment, some of what some are doing, it's not all, what some are doing to people in this country. How can, if I turn up at Heathrow Airport as a British citizen and I've left my passport in Spain, I've got to stand at that airport and won't be let in and got to get this, but if I arrive on a boat in Calais, I get taken to a 4-star hotel.
Now, do you have a problem with what Rylan had to say? I'd argue it's no wonder he feels the way that he does. I mean, most ordinary people feel that way, especially, by the way, after the Home Office in court today argued that the rights of illegal migrants being housed at the Bell Hotel in Epping trump the rights of Essex locals being sexually attacked and molested by those illegals staying in the hotel. But after that Rylan clip went viral, Alex posted, "Own up. Who had Rylan spitting immigration facts on Good Morning on their bingo card for 2025? The way they're looking at him, literally willing him to shut up, is absolutely priceless. The Overton window has shifted to the right. Can you imagine an ITV presenter saying this a few years ago? But perhaps with some sense of confidence, Patriotic Nation predicted that's his TV career down the shitter. As Tommy Robinson put it, Rylan speaking the most common sense ever spoken on ITV's This Morning. You just know the communist cult will be typing in complaints because his facts hurt their feelings. Andrew Tate added, I don't know Rylan, and I'm sure he doesn't want me sticking up for him, but he's right. Watch. Can you believe that more than half of you are watching this video but not subscribed? So please do me a huge favour. Click the subscribe button now. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of our brand new Outspoken videos.
And when somebody points out the very obvious point that anyone with a brain is thinking, that you can't keep letting in people to take more of the native people's money, the native people who've been brainwashed by the media then attack this person. Like, this is suicidal. You can't even help these people. If you had somebody in the UK to fix the mess, they think he's the bad guy. England has lost its mind. The population has lost its mind. There's a bunch of idiot white people sitting around begging to be replaced, begging to pay taxes, to pay for other people from another nation who speak another language and have no interest in adding to your society to live. And when you point this out, you're somehow, what, racist? You want to call these people racist? I'm brown, bro. You white people have lost your fucking minds. Your country is going to be gone in 10 years from now. I saw it 10 years ago. And if you point any of this out, you're attacked. And you know what's funny? When you're attacked, you're not attacked online by the brown people. You're attacked by the other white people who are begging for extinction.
And I have to admit, Andrew Tate has been completely right. Because predictably, The white woke left have piled on Rylan Clark and are attempting to get him cancelled. Now, heart of that battle actually took place at ITV, where there is a full-on civil war, and it kicked off on Loose Women. Now, this is the show that follows this morning. And first, just minutes after Rylan Clark had made his comments, in response, Nadia Sawalha went ballistic.
Well, the thing is, I am actually really worried. I know a lot of people just dismiss Nigel Farage and his sometimes rantings.
Yeah.
But when I look at America now and I look at the horror story that's unfolding there, and I know a lot of people here agree with what's going on, people being dragged out of their homes, illegal immigrants that maybe have been working there 20, 25 years, have built up a life and a home and they pay taxes and all of that. I actually, for me, it feels like Trump is Nigel Farage's sort of like man crush kind of thing.
Well, they are very close.
They're very close. And it feels like he's following his playbook. And, you know, it's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it, for a politician to create hate about a group of people, to distract from all that they're not doing. And it feels to me like he loves to throw that red meat out. And it's like we should be, like you say, Kay, we should be looking at what really... Yes, it's a problem, you know, we can't have everybody here, but we have to come up with a solution for that, and successive governments haven't.
Well, we sort of have to find a middle ground, don't we, rather than the pendulum going all the way over here.
And to blame our lack of a good education system, lack of good mental health services, lack of good... the NHS struggling, to blame it all on migrants is very dangerous. And I think when you look at America and you look at how the Democrats kind of just passed him off as a joke all the time, Trump, and here we are. He's breaking down the Constitution. He's doing whatever he wants. He's rounding people up. Look at how he sent people off to El Salvador. I just think we have to be really careful.
Yeah, and we are a divided country. I mean, if you look at the polls... He got voted in by people who felt they were not listened to. Yeah.
Then today, on the same show, a woman who used to be in the vocal harmony group Eternal tried to make national treasure Gloria Honeyford appear like some sort of far-right racist.
My concern is like Nigel Farage is sort of stoking up people that have racist views. That's my only concern.
It's what a lot of people want to hear, though. That's the point.
Glow, I find that quite difficult to take on board. There are two sides to this argument.
Well, singer from Eternal, you might find it difficult to take on board, but it's how we all feel. And if your daughter was sexually molested by one of those illegal migrants staying at a hotel, then you might feel differently. But look, it was, as Andrew Tate predicted, the white woke lefties who came for Rylan Clark, like full-time troll Super Tansky, you know, Carol Vorderman's best friend, who wrote, "I hope Rylan Clark is prepared for the fascistic reform fuckers that he's spouting disinformation for on national TV to take away gay rights, because that will be next when they're done scapegoating immigrants as a way to try and force us out of the ECHR. What an idiot." No, Super Tansky, you are the idiot, love. With David Bull, Darren Grimes, and hundreds more, I can tell you right now, Reform is actually the gayest party in the UK. But it didn't stop the left-wing gays coming for Rylan. Queer academic, that's his description of himself. Thomas Willett wrote, "This is deeply irresponsible rhetoric. The falsehoods Rylan is spreading are designed to vilify all immigrants, irrespective of their settlement status. Broadcasters have a duty to uphold the truth. And on this occasion, both Rylan and ITV have fallen short of that responsibility." Then there was Pride in Labour snob Jamie Strudwick, who sneered, "Rylan Clark isn't a far-right hooligan. He's just deeply, deeply stupid." And anybody who didn't realise that before today needs a reality check. We need to stop giving stupid, uneducated people major platforms. It's that simple. Then Narinder Kaur demanded an apology, writing, "Do better, Rylan. Apologise and stop cosplaying fascist and racist narratives, putting targets on brown and black communities. How dare you? And using the fact your mum was looked after ever so well by ethnic minority staff as some sort of cushion to hateful rhetoric. Horrible. Watch."
The message for Nigel Farage, sorry, Rylan Clark. I get the two mixed up these days. Seriously, Rylan, I've met you before, liked you. But your little outburst on this morning was disgusting, despicable. You can do better. And don't you dare wrap it up as, oh, well, it's all unfair. Because if you wanted to talk about unfairness, you could have talked about billionaires not paying their taxes. You could have talked about corrupt politicians. You could have talked about a multitude of sins of the Tory government of the past 14 years. But no, you decided to wake up and punch down on vulnerable people who are drowning in the sea, trying to get desperate, trying to get to this country, and you wrapped it up as some kind of luxury holiday they're on. It's disgusting. Who do you think you are, seriously? And then you started to kind of backtracked and said, well, actually, we like legal migrants. They looked after my mum so well. My parents were legal migrants. I know plenty of legal migrants, and they don't appreciate that you thought that that's okay, because we're at targets right now. Black and brown communities right now, we're targets. There's a target on our back. 2 Sikh men have been attacked, a restaurant in a suspected racial aggravated attack, and all you can talk about is, well, we don't mind them. Shut up. Seriously, do better.
So sure enough, that sort of left-wing backlash did actually prompt a slight rollback from Rylan Clark, who posted on his various social media platforms, you can be pro-immigration and against illegal routes, you can support trans people and have the utmost respect for women, you can be heterosexual and still support gay rights, the list continues. Stop with this putting everyone in a box exercise and maybe have conversations instead of shouting on Twitter. But it still went down as a bit of an Overton shifting moment, with Paul Joseph Watson pointing out quite a bold statement for such a normie TV show: things are changing fast. Although I have to say, and I was disgusted when I saw this last night, ITV quickly disgraced itself, with the boss of its hard left flagship news broadcast, Tom Bradby, ludicrously suggesting the trans anti-Trump church shooter in Minneapolis was far right. Now, I'm not even joking about this. Watch.
Even by the standards we've very sadly grown used to, the video apparently recorded by the assailant behind the latest school shooting in Minneapolis was utterly chilling. 2 children were killed, one aged 10, one aged 8, and many more injured. The assailant appears to have been attracted to far-right ideology, including apparent signs of racism and anti-Semitism. Rohit and Robert will explain.
Bullshit, you are despicable, Tom Bradby and woke ITV. So, I mean, when you look at all of these examples, it feels like our raging media is at a tipping point. Some continue to exist in their ludicrous bubble, the loose women, Tom Bradby, the Rylan Clark haters. Others are venturing into the real world. I mean, can you believe even Sly News seemed to acknowledge the issue of demographics contributing to the destruction of Bournemouth yesterday? Watch this.
A snapshot of Britain in the 80s. Beachgoers in the seaside town of Bournemouth, a place which has always been a magnet for holidaymakers and seasonal workers. Fast forward to the final days of this summer and the change is undeniable. In the Bournemouth area between the 2011 and 2021 censuses, the non-British born population went up by 47%, and immigration everywhere has risen significantly since then. On the seafront, we find immigration is something white British people want to talk about, but not openly.
Okay, interesting. I'll always give credit where credit's due. But then on the same day, we still have its woke presenters making idiotic arguments on air like this.
But there's one use of language that I heard Zia Youssef use today. I think Nigel Farage used it as well during the speech. Yeah. This idea of talking about fighting-age men coming over here. You know how loaded that is. You know what that suggests.
Do you know the countries they're coming from?
Let me finish the point before you answer. Yeah. It's indicative of this idea of invasion. I mean, and Ellie Chowns, actually, not to quote her all the time, but she talked about, when we talk about working-age men, which actually you used earlier, you said that people coming here who want to work, that is something different. So why use this fighting age over working age?
I'll tell you why. Because the places that most of these people are coming from, if you look at the countries from which they're arriving, these are countries where there is a state of war. It is not their women. I was brought up to believe that if there is danger, you make sure the women and children are in safety first. In this instance, it's the young men who want to get to safety first. And frankly, They have grown up in an era of warfare with a different culture, with a different attitude towards women. And yes, they are of fighting age, because you can't tell me...
So you don't seem to want to step away from that, do you?
No.
Even though you know what it suggests.
I know exactly what it means, and but we feel... There have been cases of people who've come on those boats who have been arrested, alleged right now, because they've not been convicted, of terrorist offences. So, yeah, fighting age.
And yes, Sly News, we are in danger. I want to show you the mainstream media in Ireland, who actually did a very good job, this is brilliant, of exposing a so-called asylum seeker for being a total liar. But first, as I've entered my 40s, ageing has become ever-present in my life. My body doesn't back up the way it used to, and I've found that it's far easier to get injured when trying to work out, far harder to recover too. But I believe one of the best aging breakthroughs of the last decade is qualia senolytic. And I'm going to explain why. Senolytics are a science field revolutionizing human aging. A big culprit behind that middle-aged feeling can be so-called zombie cells that linger in your body after their useful function, wasting your energy and resources. Now, those zombie cells can lead to less energy, slower workout recovery, joint discomfort, and basically feeling old. Now, qualia senolytic is a groundbreaking, clinically tested supplement with 9 vegan plant-derived compounds that help your body naturally eliminate these zombie cells, helping you feel years younger in just months. But here's what I absolutely love about this product. You take it just 2 days a month, helping your body naturally eliminate zombie cells to age better at the cellular level. Now, since taking qualia senolytic, I've felt like I've turned back the clock. I have higher energy, less soreness after exercise, and a big boost in productivity too. That all equals feeling so much better. So experience the science of feeling younger by going to qualialife.com/Dan for up to 50% off your purchase. Use the code DAN, that's DAN, for an additional 15%. So that's QUALIA life.com/Dan for an extra 15% off your purchase. Your older self will thank you. And by the way, thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get back to it.
5 months now.
Okay, and what brought you to Ireland?
Yeah, we are asylum seekers.
Okay, so you're fleeing war.
Excuse me?
Are you fleeing war?
Yeah, prosecution.
Prosecution?
Yeah.
Where?
Nigeria.
There's war in Nigeria?
No, it's a sexuality thing.
Sexuality?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Where I come from, if you are bisexual or homosexual, you get killed. So
you're gay?
Yeah, you have to take off, yes.
Okay. And how are you finding Letterkenny? Are you settling in well?
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Are you working?
Not yet, still looking for.
Okay. And where are you staying?
It's just beside my Gettigans over there.
And all paid for? All sorted by the government?
Government, yes.
Great government.
Oh, fantastic. This is the land of Tien and Og.
1,000 welcomes.
Yes, Kukulin said come and we're here.
And you're out on a Saturday night?
Oh, but of course, we're going to have fun out there.
You're happy in Ireland?
This is Erin.
And have you got family at home?
Oh, yes, I do.
So what have you got at home?
My wife and 2 kids, 2 sons.
Your wife and 2 sons?
Yeah, the mighty Hercules and the mighty Spartacus.
But you just said you were gay.
Huh?
Did you hear that? Earlier on in the interview, he says, so you've got to laugh or you'd cry. He says he's ticked the box to stay in Ireland because he's gay or bisexual, can't go back to Nigeria. Back at home in Nigeria, his wife and children. I understand the frustration of Mike Graham on Talk TV, who just lost the plot at Torsten Bell, the Labour loser who's about to destroy our economy even more.
Him out. And if he's that clever, you know, let's see what he's actually come up with. What has he actually done that makes him clever? What's he done that makes him clever? Sorry, I'm asking you.
I tell you who he worked for. He ran the Resolution Foundation.
So, what's that about?
It's about raising taxes.
Right. So, that makes him how does that make him clever? You know, the guy's a moron. You know, he came up with the headstone. You know, retire now. Don't even bother going anywhere near the rest of the human race because you're a complete bloody moron.
Right.
You know, I'd like to have him sitting here where you're sitting, and I know that you might have to defend these people.
I'm not defending him. I'm not defending him.
But, you know, you ran the Resolution Foundation where they went, let's just raise a load of taxes and anybody who makes any money, just take it all off them and give it to some, you know, low-life scumbags who don't want to work and maybe some migrants. Brilliant. You know, give the bloody twat a Nobel Peace Prize. Who cares? Right? I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood. Sorry about the word twat. I didn't mean to say that. It came out wrong. I wanted to say twit. There's another word that begins with W and ends in cur. I also wanted to say, but that's why I went with twat. Anyway, sorry. I know it's early, 6:51. Sorry about that.
Right. Torsten Bell.
What's good about Torsten Bell? End. Anything else?
No.
Sorry.
And Theo Usherwood, that MSM shill, he just can't deal with it. Mike Graham's frustration there is the frustration that we all feel. And what's so interesting is that, as ever, it's Americans who are waking up first to the MSM's tactics here. Case in point, as Tommy Robinson pointed out, watch as Patrick Bet-David realises what we're up against in the UK on his show. The legacy media, in cahoots with the government, had the Minect app banned from Instagram for a year after pressuring Meta. Why? Because they allowed me on. The Times tried to set me up and failed as usual. What they've done to Minect is exactly what they did with my social medias. They pressurized them to ban me. And here's how Patrick Bet-David plans to fight back.
When we had Tommy Robinson on Minect, story came out from the Times. I don't know if you have the story, Rob. Type in the Times. The Times could type in Tommy Robinson, the Times, and Minect, okay? So they did a massive story, the Times, okay, with the story. They came, I don't know if people know this or not, Instagram blocked the Minect account from being able to run ads for a year because of this Times story. Tommy Robinson charging $20 a minute as personal coach to the far right, the self-styled anti-Islam activist, and this is from UK. They reached out directly to Facebook to have this happen on Minect. Go a little bit low, Rob, if you can go through it. Now, obviously, our lawyers reached out. Everything's getting squared away. But if you go a little bit lower, the attacks they created a fake account on Minect to ask him questions and videos. And if you watch every single one of the videos, there is nothing that he says that's anything major. Our lawyers watch it. Everybody watch it. Go all the way down, and he talks about me and Patrick Bet-David, the founder of Minect, and he's doing this. They're sharing all the Minects publicly, right? Okay. So the UK woke audience wants to get you canceled, okay?
Yes, they do. And this is what we're having to put up with. But revolution is in the air. For example, even though the British Bashing Corporation took his announcement very seriously, far more people, and I think this is the way to deal with it, are just laughing out loud at the Liberal Democrat leader, that utter clown Ed Davey, for boycotting Donald Trump's state dinner next month, as if the US president would even know or care who he is. Watch.
We can't allow him to leave our country without him realizing we believe it is his responsibility to stop this.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. I don't know how they could want to stay. It's a demolition site. Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate.
I never thought I'd have to make this decision. Next month, Donald Trump will come to the UK for a state banquet. I've been invited, but my wife and I won't be going. It's an enormous honour to be invited by the King, who I have huge respect for. But it's only by not attending that I get the opportunity to make this case. The people of Gaza are starving. Just last week, the UN-backed IPC declared an entirely man-made famine in Gaza City. Children are dying. Hostages are still being held. And Donald Trump is the only man who can stop this.
I'm going to laugh at him. And that's what we deserve to do. Now, Dominic Frisby is here. He is the comedian. He is the author of the brand new book, The Secret History of Gold, Myth, Money, Politics, and Power. Dominic Frisby, so great to have you on Outspoken for the first time. And of course, we're going to be talking much more about your book and your career later in the show. But first to the news, Dominic. I mean, do you feel for Rylan Clark, this light entertainment presenter who's spoken what pretty much everyone in Essex thinks, and all of a sudden it's been brutally cancelled by the left?
Yes, I do feel for him, Dan. And this is the problem that so many people who work in the media face, is that on the one hand, they have their principles, and on the other hand, they have their career. And often the two are aligned, but often they're not aligned. And for a lot of people that work in the media, actors, presenters, those kind of things, often their principles are their career. And so their principles will be whatever it needs to be to further their career. But then I just think more and more people are just starting to say what they think, and the narrative is starting to fall apart. And may I just say, Dan, just watching what you were doing in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the show, one of the problems I think we have in this country is that we have successive governments who are terrified of the media. And so they're so scared of the media that effectively they were governed by the media. Mm-hmm. So it's just brilliant to see somebody doing what you're doing, which is, rather than holding politicians or whatever, you're holding the media to account. Because if there's one thing that needs reform, it really is the media, and it is so biased. And it's just so good to see somebody holding it to an 100%. Account and doing
it's
what
something
you're doing.
that we have never done in the United Kingdom. No one has ever put the mainstream media on notice, and I did when I was at GB News, and I believe it was a big part of my cancellation. It was why they were so desperate to get me off air, because since I've left, GB News won't even allow its presenters now, I mean, we'll talk about them later, but won't even allow their presenters now to use nicknames like, for example, Sly News, because they want to be part of that media establishment, and that's a big problem. I mean, I was literally gobsmacked yesterday, Dominic, when I saw Tom Bradby, because I'd been following what happened in Minneapolis. It happened just before we went on air yesterday. Then I watched this most horrendous, deranged video, the sort of manifesto from the trans shooter, clearly mentally ill. And I believe that being trans is a mental illness. But to see Tom Bradby in the introduction to the news somehow try and link this to the far right. I mean, the guy had literally written on one of his guns he wanted to kill Donald Trump. I mean, what is far right at all about this trans dude?
Well, I wrote a song about this, and Elon Musk retweeted it, and it's called "We're All Far Right Now."
And I love it.
And you know, it had something like 50 million views just on Twitter, and another 10 million elsewhere. Million views. That's, you know, as more people than there are in England. That's a lot of views, and so the message clearly chimed, and it's just reached the point. Is I don't think we've become more far right. It's just the definition of what is far right is just, it's like a magical spell word. It's just a way of smearing people, and literally everything now, if you don't agree with it, it's far right. But the really dangerous thing here is, if all this stuff does not get sorted soon, then everyone will get really far right. Do you see? I mean, genuinely far right, which is why we have to deal with it now.
Indeed, very, very true. But of course, with this almost warning shot of what has happened to Rylan Clark, I think it's the left saying, don't step out of line. Don't step out of line, mainstream media presenters or line to entertainment celebrities. Don't say what you think, because if you do, we're coming for you.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.